And we're on. Welcome. If you're new to this channel, let me introduce myself. My name is Logan. Welcome to Timeless Personal Growth and Development. Today, I want to talk to you guys about how to stop living in fear. And we've all lived in fear, right? Last almost 2 years we've been living in fear. Because of the worldwide pandemic, right? Yeah. Well, in regards to living in fear, I'm going to focus more on the pandemic because that's more of a common ground that we've all been going through the last year and a half, 2 years. And well, we all live in fear based on our own individual lives for different aspects, but a very common aspect that we've been going through in the last year and a half is the global pandemic. We're all living in fear, right? Yeah. But is fear a state that we should be living all the time? No. And how do you know when you should be living in fear and when you shouldn't? And it's just a misplaced form of anxiety that you're creating in your own head, a false sense of reality that you're just creating. And how do you know when it's something that you actually should be fearful of? Legit, that is a legit external fear that you need to worry about your survival. Well, it's all based on an individual basis, but in terms of the pandemic, and this is me speaking, this is my opinion, that we've reached, I think us as people in the world, we've lost our ability to put that line in the sand and say, no, that's enough. I'm done living in fear. Over. I'm done. I'm moving on with my life. I'm disconnecting myself from this, and I'm going to go enjoy my life. Because that's why we're all here, right? We want to enjoy our lives. We want to have fun. The world's a playground, but somewhere along the line, as we grow and as we develop, we kind of forget that. We need to step back and be able to have fun. And I remember this episode of Lost. You guys remember that show Lost in the early mid 2000s, where the plane crashes on the island and they're just trying to survive. This is in the first season, and there's this episode with the character's name is Hurley. He starts a golf course, and they question him like, Hurley, why are you building a golf course? We're here to survive. We're here to survive and get off this island eventually. And his answer to that is like, yeah, well, we don't know how long we're going to be here. And if we're always constantly in a state of survival and fright and stress and anxiety, that's not good for our health. You're going to be here for a long time. We got to learn to kind of enjoy ourselves, enjoy each other, and have a little fun and ease that tension. And that's all he was trying to do, was to build that golf course, was just ease that tension of the people on the island. And you can relate that to the pandemic. It's like we're always worried about going out in public and going to gatherings and wearing our mask and always keeping a distance, and we're so anxious, we're all worried. Well, at one point, you just say enough's enough. Just stop. Enough, and start living our life. And you need to be aware of what you're seeing on the news and what you're seeing on social media and how that's affecting your psyche. I've done did a video on this a while back where we're affected, our psyche and our way of thinking and our behavior is all affected by what we consume, by what we look at, by what we take in through TV, through media, through our phones. It affects our way of thinking and how we think ourselves, and that affects our behavior. Which is exactly what the government wants to do to us, of course. They want us to think a certain way So it affects our behavior. So we do what they need us to do and get vaccinated, get the jab, because that's what they want us to do. So they want us to be fearful. They want us to take this seriously. I'm not saying it is or isn't, but I'm just saying it's important to start to use critical thinking skills. Start to use your rationale and reason, and stop thinking and making every little decision based on stress, anxiety, and fear. And being able to make decisions when you're in a calm, relaxed state, and being able to enjoy yourself and have fun. Because living in a constant state of fear is not life. And I'm sure a lot of people feel like their time has been wasted in the last year and a half by living in a constant state of fear. And when it relates to the pandemic, well, what's the easiest way to stop living in fear? Turn off the news. Get off of that. Turn off social media. Get off of that, because that's going to affect your way of thinking. And you look at it in a way of, if this all happened 100 years ago, which it did happen 100 years ago, the Spanish flu, it did happen. Back then, what did we have back then 100 years ago during the Spanish flu? What did we have? Well, we didn't have the news. We didn't have social media. We didn't have all this technology that connected everybody to everybody through our phone. We didn't have that. We didn't have the medical upgrades and technology that we have now. We didn't have that. How did we get the news? Well, from our local paper. That's all we had. And you think about people's ability to control others just through media, just through, like, me making this video for you right now. You can agree with what I'm saying, or you can disagree with what I'm saying. Maybe something I say sticks with you, and it hits you hard, and it's very profound to you. Maybe something I said really stays with you, and that could affect the way you're thinking. Oh, wow. That guy, Logan, on Timeless Personal Growth and Development. Wow, he said something really interesting that I never really thought of before. What happened? Well, I just influenced your way of thinking by getting you to think of something you never thought of before. But that's what this pandemic is doing to us as well. It's influencing our way of thinking and how we think about each other and how we think about the world and think about how we're managing this pandemic. And a lot of it can be useful. A lot of it can be utter bloody nonsense. But you can decide for yourself and draw that line in the sand where you decide, you know what? I've had enough of this. I think this is silly. I think this is stupid. I think this is just wasting my time. And I'm tired of this, and it's not making sense. So you know what? I'm turning off all notifications. I'm turning off the news, and I'm just going to go about my life and live my life without fear and enjoy myself. And that's it. But you decide. You decide if you want to continue living in a state of fear or you want to enjoy yourself. You got to ask yourself, what's your threshold? What's your breaking point? I reached my breaking point about 6-7 months ago on this pandemic where I'm just like, nope, this is not making sense to me anymore, and I'm stopping. I'm done. I did what I had to do. I played my role. I'm turning off everything, and I'm just going to go live my life and enjoy myself, and that's it. So you decide for yourself, and this doesn't specifically need to relate to the pandemic. It could be anything. People live in a state of fear in relationships too. So you got to decide to yourself, what's your breaking point in your relationship? Are you just going to continue tolerating bad behavior? You're going to continue tolerating a toxic relationship that you're not happy with, you're not enjoying yourself? Or you're going to cut that umbilical cord and just say, I'm done. Over. I don't care anymore. I've reached my threshold. I'm drawing that line in the sand, and I'm just stopping. I'm over. I'm not living in fear anymore. So you decide, because sometimes pushing yourself over that fear could be the scariest thing of all. But you need to decide for yourself where that line is. Because I can't tell you what it is. Other people can't tell you what it is. It's all an individual decision. So you decide and think about that. And on that note, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, comment and subscribe. And a big favor, it'll help me build this channel. And I'll see you all in the next episode. Have a good one.